Hello and good morning, Romaine Brooks. Thank you for being here today. I myself am a fan of your work and was wondering, can you tell me a little bit about your life before you became an artist?
Good morning, and yes, of course. Well, I didn't really have the easiest childhood. My upbringing was marked by a lot of different challenges and hardships. I grew up with a strained and difficult and a one sided relationship with my mother. She was abusive, and my older brother was the one that got favored most of the time, and I was often left isolated and alone a lot of the time. My father really wasn't around a lot growing up, and he abandoned us when I was a really young child, which only made things harder.
I'm sorry to hear about that. I know you've been through a lot. How did you manage to get through all that hardship early in your life?
Well, growing up, I did find a sense of freedom and expression through my art. Um, I delved into art as a child and a young person, and it was a way of expressing myself and also a way of trying to escape my harsh life and reality at the time. I eventually learned that creating and making art allowed me to transform my pain into something meaningful.
That's really inspiring. What about when you were in college?
Well, I went to art school and I was left with little money at the time. I was basically trying to scrape together what I did have to make ends meet, and I had to paint and commission whoever I could get at the time. So I really wasn't given a lot of people that I could commission, and I really couldn't commission anyone I really wanted to, like my friends. But then at the time, my mother passed away, and I inherited a lot of money after her death. This gave me a way to really start my career and do what I dreamed of doing.
That must have been hard and a challenging time. I find that admirable that you found a way to keep creating through all you've been through. How did you first discover your true passion for art?
A passion for art was something that always really felt natural to me. When I was a teenager, I studied art in Rome abroad, and then later I went to Paris to study art. Traveling really broadened my perspective, and I admired the boldness of the artists around me. Um, I was drawn to the freedom of expression that one can do through art. I found it's really hard to express myself in my day to day life because I'm a lesbian, but art was and still is a way that I can really express myself.
That's interesting, very admirable. I was wondering, what do you think makes your work stand out against others, and how did you create your unique style?
I think that when I was traveling abroad, I saw a lot of different types of art and different things like that, and I experimented with my own specific art style, especially by creating my own sort of color palette, which I use a lot of muted and dark tones, gray tones, black, and I think that is what really makes my work stand out in the fact that I also portray my subjects with a sense of introspection, like they are thinking.
It's wonderful how travel can shape an artist's perspective. Can you share a specific experience or piece of art from your travels that influenced your style and maybe the backstory?
Certainly, one of my most well known paintings is one of my own favorite works, which is my self portrait, which I titled Self Portrait. Um, and I'd done that in 1923. In it, I presented myself in a muted color palette. I'm wearing my suit and I am wearing androgynous clothing, which with my top hat and black suit, and I am staring directly at the viewer, even though my eyes are shadowed underneath my hat. It was a statement of defiance and self assurance at the time. I was reflecting my identity and the rejection of traditional norms. I wanted to create something that would challenge the societal expectations of women. If you look very closely, you can see something on the collar of my shirt that's small and red. It's on my coat. And that is my Legion of Honor cross, which I was actually awarded by the French government.
That's fascinating. I think it's brave and inspiring that you wanted to challenge the traditional and societal norms, and I love that you've shown yourself with your honor cross. Even though it is a very small detail, it is such significance. Another notable piece of yours is La France Croisée, or the Cross of France. Can you tell us about it and what inspired that work?
Yes, La France Croisée is a deeply symbolic piece. The figure in the painting is stood isolated, and the mood of the painting is calm and melancholic or sad. I sometimes used my muted tones to evoke an emotional depth in the painting. The figure is wearing a nurse's outfit, and I gave her a flowing white headscarf that she wears on her head to symbolize the bandages that she would have dressed all the time so that she was in the war on the soldiers. It was inspired by women who were heroes in World War One, and they risked their lives in order to save so many lives and during such gruesome and painful times. I actually chose my lovely partner, Ida Rubinstein, as the personification of these women, as this topic is very personal to me. I actually did volunteer as an ambulance driver during the war, World War One.
Wow, that's very moving. You must be so proud of yourself. Are you of this work?
Yes, I am actually very proud of this painting, especially because of the fact that it was really so personal to me, being in service during the war, but especially because of the fact that it raised money for the Red Cross in order to help others during the war. This work was actually exhibited in 1915 in the Birmingham Gallery in Paris, and it was exhibited along with 4 poems, which I didn't write, but I made pamphlets for to go along with this event. For this work, I received my Red Cross from the French government, which I painted on my self portrait on the collar of my coat.
That's truly incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And can you please tell the history of your famous portrait, Una Lady Tourage? It's quite striking and personally my favorite.
Oh yes, thank you. Una Lady Trowbridge is a very powerful work. I really admired Una's strength and presence in the painting. She was a successful sculptor and a devoted partner of the Radcliffe Hall, a writer whose works have become quite bold in their expression of love and identity, particularly in The Well of Loneliness. Radcliffe's writings challenge the traditional views and relationships and personal expression. And the two of them, living so openly together at the time, represented a quiet and yet powerful defiance of societal expectations. In the portrait, she's depicted with a tailored suit, an eyeglass, and I wanted to represent her confidence and her elegance. I wanted to celebrate her authenticity and the courage she had in embracing her true self. My art often honored the people in my life who would break barriers and they could live their lives unapologetically.
That's such a powerful way to capture Una's essence. The tailored suit speaks volumes about her strength and authenticity. It's clear that you have a deep respect for those who break barriers and live unapologetically. Your ability to portray that strength through your art is truly remarkable. It's as if you're honoring not just the person, but the courage they carry with them. What message would you like people to take away from your paintings?
I hope my art encourages people to embrace their individuality. I paint people as they are, without masks or pretenses, and without making them fit the societal expectations. There's beauty in authenticity, in embracing one's true self. If my paintings can inspire others to stand proudly in their own identities, then I feel like I've accomplished something meaningful.
That's such a beautiful sentiment, and it really shines through in your work. Your ability to capture authenticity and celebrate individuality is truly inspiring. Your work is really ahead of its time, and I think it will continue to inspire others for years and years to come. I'm sure your paintings have encouraged countless people to embrace who they are. Thank you for sharing that perspective, Romaine.
Thank you, Maddie. That's very kind of you to say. I've always believed that art has the power to challenge perspectives and ignite conversations, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my experiences and reflect on my journey. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.